The story begins with passengers on a delayed flight experiencing technical difficulties and frustration as they wait for deplaning. The pilot informs them that the stairway to exit the plane does not fit their aircraft, so they must wait longer. Meanwhile, two characters, Elliot and his daughter Ridley, are introduced, showing a strained relationship as they travel to a remote nature preserve owned by the wealthy Leopold family, who have significant influence over pharmaceuticals and local philanthropy. Elliot is nervous about this visit and the family's expectations, as he has been named proxy to represent them in a corporate board, a role he sees as a potential financial lifeline but also a trap. Upon arrival at the lodge in the mountains, the tension grows. Ridley is visibly unwell and Elliot tries to manage her symptoms while navigating the Leopold family dynamics. Odell Leopold, the family patriarch, is frail and his illness is the reason for Elliot's involvement. He insists on a slow approach to get to know Elliot personally, not just as a corporate representative. Belinda and Shepard, members of the family, show concern for Ridley and try to persuade Elliot to stay for dinner despite Ridley's discomfort. The family dinner and interactions highlight underlying conflicts about wealth, power, corporate ethics, and personal loyalty. During the drive to the lodge, Elliot hits an unusual animal on a remote road and believes it to be a wild horse, but the creature is actually a unicorn. Its injury and death cause a mysterious connection with Ridley, who experiences a strange seizure and claims a link to the animal. The Leopolds become aware of the incident and the strange creature quickly draws attention from scientists and security personnel who view it as a precious specimen with potentially world-changing importance. Elliot and Ridley are caught in a situation where the magical creature's death threatens to disrupt the carefully maintained balance of corporate interests and family secrets. Ridley's health deteriorates and Elliot struggles to keep the situation under control, especially as Ridley's reactions to the creature's blood are unusual. The family insists on secrecy and control as they call in specialists, including a Dr. Song with a mobile laboratory, to investigate. The tension escalates between protecting Ridley and the unicorn's mystery versus the pressure from outside agencies and the Leopold family's corporate empire. The story explores themes of environmental conservation, corporate exploitation, and the personal cost of loyalty and survival. Throughout the weekend, Elliot tries to bond with Ridley, who reveals her deep connection to the unicorn and her fears that their presence at the lodge is a mistake. The family and their staff attempt to manage Ridley's behavior, but the growing threat of government intervention looms. The narrative reveals the complexity of the Leopold's world, blending philanthropy with ruthless business tactics and the ethical compromises made to maintain power. Meanwhile, Shepard and Belinda provide insight into the family's dealings and the symbolic significance of the unicorn, which ties into ancient mythology and the idea of purity corrupted by human greed. The story draws parallels with medieval unicorn tapestries, symbolizing the struggle between innocence and exploitation. The unicorn is both a magical creature and a representation of something rare and untamable, caught in a modern world driven by capital and control. As scientific tests proceed, the uniqueness of the creature is confirmed and questions arise about what it means for Ridley, who was exposed to its blood, and the implications for the family and the preserve. Elliot's role becomes even more complicated as he tries to protect his daughter and fulfill his obligations. Meanwhile, Ridley grapples with her own sense of identity and destiny as she feels the creature's spirit within her. The unfolding events force characters to confront their values and the consequences of their choices in the face of an uncertain future. The climax builds with increasing tension as the Leopolds and their associates debate how to handle the situation, balancing public relations, corporate interests, and the mysterious nature of the unicorn. Ridley's condition becomes a focal point for both hope and fear, while Elliot's desperation to keep her safe grows. The story mixes suspense with moments of quiet emotional struggle, revealing the deep bonds and fractures within the family and the larger world they inhabit. In the final scenes, the mysterious powers linked to the unicorn and Ridley's connection hint at a greater awakening or change, suggesting that this event could alter the course of their lives and the fate of the preserve. The characters are left to face the unknown with a mix of fear, hope, and determination. The story closes on a note of suspense, leaving the reader to wonder about the consequences of mixing ancient magic with modern corporate ambition and the price of protecting what is rare and true in a world that often values profit over life. The story opens with mysterious sounds and the tension of hooves galloping through a forest where a high-pitched cry echoes in the distance. A man named Odell lies in a cryogenic state underground, battling cancer with the help of his son Elliot, who has developed a mysterious treatment that might be working. Odell expresses gratitude for the chance to face death with certainty and to have tried everything possible, though he wistfully wishes he had gone to space. Elliot assures him that his discovery will yield royalties and possibly a partnership, as they are on indigenous land, though Odell tells him to save his strength and to remain quiet. Next, the scene shifts to Ridley, a young woman researching the possibility that unicorns once existed and that the ancient beliefs about their healing powers might be true, despite skepticism from others, including Shepard, who dismisses the research as archaic, misogynist nonsense. Ridley persists in organizing her research visually, hoping to convince others, including her parents, to take it seriously. Ridley recalls a visit to the Cloisters Museum with her mother before her death that displayed medieval tapestries depicting unicorns, which were traditionally interpreted as metaphors for religious themes, but she believes there is truth to the old stories. The narrative cuts back to Odell, who miraculously shows signs of spontaneous remission in his cancer thanks to a compound derived from a unicorn-like creature discovered during their research. Song, a scientist on the team, warns that the protein sequences in the compound defy scientific explanation and cannot be synthetically reproduced, causing tension about the feasibility of mass production. Odell is defiant, claiming man has no limitations and demands recognition for the cure they have found. Despite the scientific community's doubts, the group prepares to present the treatment at an elite gathering, knowing that demand will be high and the financial prospects immense. They discuss pricing and clients while celebrating the breakthrough and anticipating a future free of disease and aging. Meanwhile, Ridley continues her research, uncovering the cultural significance of unicorns as divine creatures capable of healing anything but impossible to capture. She recalls her mother's connection to the medieval tapestries and insists that they must preserve the small unicorn creature they have rather than exploit it. Despite opposition from others who see the discovery as a business opportunity to be exploited at any cost, the team ventures into the wilderness to retrieve the creature, but is attacked by a larger adult unicorn that kills one of their scientists, Dr. Song, and injures others, creating chaos and fear in the group as the hunt intensifies. Elliot debates retreating with the baby unicorn, while Odell insists on harvesting every last part of the creatures for the cure. Ridley argues for compassion and protection of the animals, causing further conflict within the team. The tension culminates with a decision to capture the wounded adult unicorn before it dies. To study it further, despite the risks, the team struggles with ethical questions about exploitation and scientific progress balanced against the desperate hope of curing disease. Odell tries to motivate everyone to push forward in honor of his late wife and to keep their legacy alive. The climax builds as they attempt to kill the adult unicorn for its horn, but discover something extraordinary as the creature begins to resurrect itself, defying death and scientific understanding. The horn signals signs of cellular activity, reversal of decay, and regeneration, suggesting the unicorn has incredible healing powers beyond anything known. The team grapples with this revelation as they realize the implications for medicine and immortality. They face danger and moral dilemmas in handling this miraculous discovery. Ridley expresses a mystical connection to the creature, indicating a bond that might explain why it spared her from attack. The story ends with uncertainty about what the future holds, but a sense of awe and responsibility toward the unicorns and the cure they represent. The story combines themes of science and mysticism, corporate greed and compassion, the limits of human knowledge, and the possibility of miracles, all woven through a tense thriller about discovery and survival in the wilderness. A group of people is trapped in a remote ranch facing mysterious and deadly creatures that appear to be unicorns. These creatures are aggressive and relentless in their attacks, killing several members of the group, including Odell. The situation quickly becomes desperate and chaotic as they try to understand the nature of the threat and how to survive. The group debates the best course of action, with tensions rising as they consider using a baby unicorn as bait. Following ancient folklore about unicorns only being capturable by a pure-hearted maiden, they prepare to lure the creatures in while trying to manually open an electric gate to escape. One member, Griff, is chosen to venture outside due to his familiarity with the gate, but the plan is fraught with danger and mistrust among them as the creatures attack relentlessly and the survivors grapple with guilt and fear. One member, Shepard, reveals his research about unicorn lore while others struggle to maintain control and keep each other safe. Tensions escalate when Belinda insists on taking action even as people around her doubt the plan. Amid the chaos, Elliot tries to protect the group but ends up causing injury to Ridley. The creatures prove smarter and more dangerous than expected, and the survivors realize they cannot reason or negotiate with them. The story culminates in a violent confrontation where sacrifice and courage are necessary to keep the group alive, though the fate of the unicorns and humans becomes intertwined as they are forced to face the consequences of their actions. The narrative explores themes of survival, legacy, and the complex relationship between humanity and mythic creatures, leaving the survivors to confront what they have unleashed and what their future holds. If you enjoy watching this video, then subscribe to Angel Recaps for the latest movies explanation.